So welcome to our class today. We are working with the idea of expansion and contraction, or light and dark, and the idea that, often we just reach for what feels good and what feels positive to us, but we really need to embrace all of life in order to have the maximum amount of vitality. So embracing the expansion and that wonderful feeling of, being open, but also allowing ourselves to go inward into that. It's like hibernation in winter, that there's a time to go inward and there's a time to go outward. And yoga really is demonstrating this all the time, right? The inhale and we expand, the exhale and we come back in. And we're going to look at that today. And we've looked at all of the pieces actually that we're going to explore today, but just putting them a little more together and working towards, linking some poses together as well today. So that idea of really being with the expansion, being with the contraction, the light, the dark, and embracing all of it. So we'll start as we always do, seated. So you can find a comfortable seat either on the ground or in your chair. There we go. All right, so let's take a moment. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. As always, if it's more comfortable to leave them open and just soften your gaze, that's always an option. Let's find some balance between the inhale and the exhale. If it helps you, you can count how long your inhale is and make your exhale the same length, as long as you're not straining. Just finding that balance. So if you notice your inhale is naturally, say, 3 or 4 seconds, making your exhale about the same length. And see if you can tune into the energy of expansion as you inhale, that opening that has to happen to allow the breath in. And then a softening as you exhale, going inward, a contraction. Tuning into those energies, contrasting one another. And then we can exaggerate that feeling of expansion and contraction by doing that cat-cow movement. So you inhale and let the chest expand as you gently arch your back, and then exhale, drawing in towards the center, letting the head come down. And then inhaling, expanding. Exhaling, going inward. So that sense of sometimes we need to expand out into the world, share ourselves, and other times we want to go inward and come back to a more reflective place. Again, you can count the breath rate if that's helpful for you. So the inhale and exhale are roughly equal. Finding balance by going from one end to the other, finding our way to the middle. And then let's add lifting the arms. So you'll come up and expand even more. And then exhale, forward bend. So you're coming into an even more contracted position. And repeating that with that same awareness of equal inhale and exhale, as long as it doesn't create strain for you. And then if it feels good for you, you can stay over your legs, maybe resting your hands or forearms on your thighs, or maybe even your chest coming down, depending on how you're sitting and how comfortable that is for you. And take a few breaths here now in this more contracted position. Feel that inward kind of going. We have all seasons in our emotions, right? The spring, the waking up, the summer, the exuberance, the fall, the kind of going down, and the winter going in. And then as you emerge from this place of winter, of inwardness, slowly rolling up, just letting your body uncurl to come back to a neutral spine. And pause there and notice. So over the last few weeks, we've been really working on noticing sensations in the body, feeling the breath, being aware of the movements of the mind. So we'll take a moment to notice sensation. So whatever you feel in your body, even if it's really subtle, just the pressure of your hands on your legs, or the feeling of movement of breath in your body, the pressure under your legs or your seat. We've already been paying lots of attention to the breath, and we'll continue that through the class. But take a moment to notice the state of your mind. So do you feel that your mind is busy and easily drawing you away from what's here and now? Is your mind very focused or maybe half asleep? I encourage you, wherever possible, to simply let the thoughts pass through like waves or clouds rolling by. If you find yourself getting hooked or attached and following some thought and creating some story, whenever you notice that, come back to the body, come back to the breath. So we're always anchoring back into the present moment. And let the arms come to your sides now, and we'll lift the shoulders up, breathing in as you expand the chest and roll back and down as you exhale. So inhale, lifting, rolling back and down. And you can get your arms into the equation, doing some circles, keeping the elbows a little bent if that's more comfortable for your shoulders, or big wide circles if you like. Really creating a sense of expansion and expansiveness around you. Right, and then let the arms come back down. You can let the hands rest on your thighs again. And just notice any sensations around your shoulders, upper arms, chest, from doing that simple arm roll movement. And then if you're on a chair, you might want to widen your feet a little bit just to create some balance so that you don't fall off as we do a few circles. So you can start with little circles, and I really encourage you again, stay tuned in. What do you feel in the sides of your waist as you circle? How do you feel your weight shift on your sit bones? What are you aware of as you circle? Just breathe normally here. And as you go, if it feels good to make your circles a little bigger, you can do that. And at some point, also, you may want to change directions and experience the sensations from the other direction. All right, let's come back to the center, and we'll do a little movement for the head and neck. So letting the chin down toward the front of the chest. Try to keep your spine nice and long. So it's just the bend at the neck. And notice where you feel the stretch. Is it just in your neck? Do you feel it down into your spine, lower down into the shoulder area? There's no right or wrong, just paying attention. And then lifting the head to a neutral position. We'll take the head and gently tilt it to one side. You're not forcing the neck or head down, just letting the weight of your head create some stretch. And then back to the center and over to the other side. And notice if the two sides feel the same or if there's more stretch on one side or the other. Let's come back to the center and tilt again to the first side. And now this time take the chin and draw it down a little bit and see how that moves the stretch, if at all. And then back to center, head going the other way. And then again, from the side, let the chin come down a little and tune into what you hear and notice, or what you feel and notice here. And then back to center. And now we'll turn the head, swiveling, rotation to one side. Long spine, turning to the other side. Notice where you feel restriction. And going back to the first side. And now a little half circle. And you can sweep now from side to side. Again, see if you can stay tuned into the sensations that you're experiencing as you do this. What do you notice? What are you aware of? If there's areas that feel tighter, you might pause there for a moment or even do some little circles or movements around those areas. And then eventually making your way back to the center. And again, pause for a moment to tune into what has shifted with that movement, those movements. What do you notice now? What are you aware of in your neck, in your shoulders? And let's take the arms up now into the cactus or goalpost position, elbows bent, hands facing forward. We're going to draw the elbows down as we lift the chest, breathing in, and then crossing the arms over the chest, rounding the upper back, bringing the head down as you exhale. So again, this idea of expanding into light, and then softening into the dark, going in and reaching out. And letting this be a metaphor for our lives. We don't always have to be outward and engaging. We can come in and build our reserves. You know, for some, being out in the world is building the reserves, the extroverts of the world. And for others, we need more inwardness. And finding the right balance for you is key. I don't think I mentioned you can alternate arms as you do this. And then next time you come into this position, we'll stay for a few breaths. So hands to the shoulders or arms or wherever they comfortably reach. And then rounding the upper back a little bit to bring the head down, to open up some space between the shoulder blades. And if it feels comfortable for you here, you can go a little bit side to side with your upper body. So encouraging some spaciousness in the back of the body. We'll switch arms, so coming to the center, lifting up, opening, and then crossing the arms the other way. And again, you can let the upper back round just a bit, and maybe some side to side movement, whatever feels good to create some space into your upper back. And then coming back to the center, let's open again. This time stretching the arms wide, reaching the fingers, the hands wide, fingertips are reaching out. And then turn the palms slowly toward the ceiling, tune into your shoulders. If it's uncomfortable, bend your arms and bring them lower. And then we'll rotate the hands back so the shoulders kind of dip forward And then open, externally rotating the shoulders and internally. And then we can add some movement for the spine. So like the cat-cow, coming down as the shoulders internally rotate, and as we turn the palms up, lifting the heart. You can add the breathing here too, exhaling forward, inhaling, lifting. Lower the arms if your shoulders feel at all strained, bend them as well. One more here. Okay, coming out to the sides, you're going to make your hands into fists and then circle your fists around. Again, bend and bring the arms lower if you need to, so you're not straining. And then give them a shake. Bring them forward, let your shoulders relax, shake out the hands. And then let your hands rest on your thighs again. Take a moment to tune in. Notice from your shoulders to your fingertips, what are you aware of now? What sensations are present? You can bring one hand to the floor or your chair if you happen to be on a chair. Again, you might want your feet a little wider if you're on a chair so that you're well balanced. And we'll take the other arm up, reaching with an inhale, and then expanding that side as you reach over. So we're expanding one side, contracting the other, and coming back up to the center. So each time lifting, breathing in to really extend, and then reaching over any amount that feels comfortable. So inhale, exhale. If you're following the breath, inhale, exhale. So 2 breaths for one movement. Inhale up, exhale over, inhale up, exhale over. And coordinating the breath is always optional. You can do every movement just breathing naturally. Sometimes it helps to coordinate the breath because it's easy to forget to breathe. So if you're coordinating the movement and breath, then you're automatically breathing. Great. Now, if you like, you can do a few more like that dynamically, or you can stay for a few breaths. And as you're staying, really feel this sense of expansion as you breathe in. And softening. We're not collapsing the other side, but there is a contraction naturally when we come to the side. And let's come up to the center. Again, bring both hands onto your legs or wherever they're comfortable. And take a moment to notice. Imagine you're split down the center through the middle of your body. Notice the side that you just expanded versus the side that was contracting. Notice what you're aware of now. What do you feel? Can you feel the difference? Or maybe it doesn't feel so different for you. There's no right or wrong. And then we'll see if we can even things up by coming to the other side. So again, hand to the floor or to the chair. One thing I didn't mention on the other side is the arm that's supporting you, you want to bend it as you go to the side so you're not pulling the shoulder up to the ear in this movement. So inhale up, reaching up, exhale a little bit to the side, inhale back to center, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale. Continue a couple more at your own time. And then when you get to the next one again, if you like, if it feels right for you, you can stay for a few breaths. As always, if you want to keep moving, that's always an option. We're not going as far as we possibly can. Just finding that first sort of feeling of stretch and holding there. And then when you're ready, coming back up again, we'll bring the hands onto the legs. Pause for a moment. You might still feel a little more expansion on the side you just worked because we just worked it. But notice again, down the middle, what do you feel side to side? Does it feel more even? Does it feel less even? Do you notice a difference at all? And if not, that's a completely legitimate answer here as well. Right? We're never looking for a particular way to feel, but tuning into what's actually true for us in the moment. How many times have you said fine when someone asks, how are you, when you're really not fine, right? It's our default, it seems. And so sometimes when we default out in the world to fine, 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 we forget to really tune into ourselves and see what we're feeling. So these practices help us to really be with ourselves, be true to ourselves, and see what's actually in front of us rather than what we wish we felt. So coming back to that cat-cow movement now to bring some balance to the spine. So inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding the back. Moving at your own pace. Again, let's come back to that idea of, can you make the breath even, the same length of time, inhaling and exhaling? If that creates strain, anything we do, if it creates strain with your breath, you're going to just let your breath be natural. Right, and let's come back to the center. So we'll add a twist. So the other way that the spine moves is, aside from side, forward, back, is this twisting motion. So we'll lift the arms to extend the spine. And then as you exhale, you're going to go to one side. The hands come to the leg or the chair or the floor, turning to look behind you. And then inhale to the center, exhale to the other side. Inhale and exhale. Great. And again, if you like, you can stay for a few breaths. If it feels better for your body to keep moving, then go ahead and keep moving. If you've got a hand on the floor or the chair behind you, use it to leverage a lift through the spine. The hand on the leg is just resting there. You can put a little bit of pressure, but not to push the leg. You push the leg out into the hand into the leg, long spine, looking over your shoulder, and breathing. Back to the center with a breath in, and then going the other direction. Long spine. So it's really key in the twist as you keep lengthening and breathing. Okay, coming back to the center, and we'll come down over the legs in a forward bend. So coming down as you exhale, if you're coordinating breath, lifting as you breathe in. And you can come back to that even breath if that works for you. And the more we're placing our attention on what's happening in the moment, the less likely we are to roam somewhere else in our minds. So having this focus on the breath and trying to make the inhale and exhale roughly equal helps to keep the mind busy. Again, if it feels good for you, stay either elbows or hands on the thighs or letting the chest come down, head down, breathing. When you're ready to come up, use your hands against your thighs to help lift you up. And once more, we'll tune in, check in, see what's present now after some movement, moving the spine in all directions. So notice what's present right now. What are you aware of? Maybe that's changed since the beginning of the class, maybe not. Let's take a nice deep breath together. And when we exhale this time, you can open your mouth, relax your jaw, and either make some sound or just exhale through your mouth. So inhale. A nice cleansing breath. And then we're going to make our way to standing. So take your time. If you've been sitting cross-legged, you might want to shake your legs out, make sure they're awake before you put them under you. And then coming onto your feet. So as we come upright, take the feet a little bit apart. Bend your knees a little bit, bring your hands to your hips. And let's just take the hips to one side and the other side. Just let your body sway a bit side to side. Again, notice what's present for you, what you're aware of. And then you can try making some circles with your hips. Circling one way, and then you're going to go around the other way. And then just for fun, let's try a little different pattern. So instead of a circle, maybe try a figure eight. Don't worry if it comes out a bit lopsided. We're really just trying to move the hips around. As we move the hips, the lower back gets involved. The thighs get involved. So it really doesn't matter what shape you make, just finding your way into what feels good. Right. And then let's bring the feet in. And we'll do a little sequence with a forward bend. If you want to watch the first time, you can. It's pretty simple, but so it's 2 breaths in the forward bend. And I'll move to the side so you can see what's happening here. So we'll be lifting up with a breath in, finding a little lift in the heart, bending the knees, coming forward any amount as you exhale. And then hands to knees, coming to the arched position, breathing in, and then coming forward again, any amount that's comfortable, and then lifting up and bringing the arms down. So we're adding that little lift in between. So when you're ready, breathing in, lifting the heart, and then bending your knees, soften as you go forward. You can reach your hands to the shins or thighs. And then lifting halfway, tail lifts, head lifts, and then reaching forward again, all the way up, and arms down. You can do the same thing to a chair if you find that easier, or continue bringing the hands down, finding a little lift, going forward again, coming up, and release. Great, one more time. And then coming back to stand with your feet under your hips in mountain pose. And let's tune in again. So let the weight drop a little bit into your heels. You'll feel your legs engage. Let your shoulders move a little bit back and down, but not pinching or thrusting your chest forward, just finding just a little bit of openness across the collarbones. Arms reaching down heavily, crown of the head lifting up. And notice again, what are you aware of? Temperature, pressure. And I'm aware of my feet on the ground. I can also feel the heat from the fire in front of me, a little cooler, or sorry, behind me, a little cooler in front. So notice what's true for you right now. What are you aware of? What can you feel in your body? Great. And again, a nice big deep breath. Exhale. Good. And then give your body a little shake. Just let all that go. Wonderful. So we'll work a little bit with warrior pose. So in warrior pose, you can step 1 foot forward, turn the other foot, the one that's behind you, a little to the side so that you've got a good balance and it's comfortable for you. And you're facing the direction of your front foot. So if you want to have a chair in front of you to bring your hands to, you're welcome, or you can bring your hands to your thigh. So we'll bend the knee, inhale into expansion, and then go inward, contraction. Exhale forward into the darkness, and then lifting into the light. So we're always rotating between these poles. And our yoga practice represents that, especially today as we really bring our focus there to that idea of expanding and opening, being out in the world, and then taking the time we need to go inward. And that balance is different for everyone. Great. So let's explore staying in this open position. So you can have your elbows bent if that feels comfortable for you. Arms can be straight. Palms face each other if your arms are straight, and that rotates the shoulders. And then from here, we'll come forward and spend a few breaths in the forward position. Coming up and releasing. You can step your feet together now. And again, let's pause in mountain pose. Let the heels drop down. And notice how one side of your body feels compared to the other. Are you aware of certain areas feeling more expanded or contracted depending on the side of your body? Again, you may not feel much difference, and that's fine too. So then you can step forward with the other foot, back foot on an angle so that your foot is flat on the ground. Bending the front knee, lifting the arms. You can breathe in here if you're coordinating breath, and then exhale any amount forward that feels comfortable for you. If you're someone who can reach the floor here, go for it. If it's more comfortable to stop just above the knee, then that's also a lovely option, or a chair. Great, we'll pause here for a moment. Again, you could go lower if it's available to you, but it's not a requirement. Come all the way up. Pause here for a breath or two. And then releasing. Right. And then again, coming back to mountain pose. Again, taking a moment to observe what's present in your body. Any sensations you might be aware of. And again, dropping into your heels and have the feeling of your hips lining up over your heels, shoulders over the hips, head over the shoulders. You feel as your roots go down into the earth, your upper body lifts. And again, there's that contrast, right? Going in and down while lifting up and out. So we're always carrying these energies of expansion and contraction. It is just part of the universal truth. Everything is expanding and contracting. Everything is changing all the time. Yet I meet so many people who just want to be happy all the time, and it's not possible. So can we go with the waves of our emotions, the waves of our lives, and ride them rather than fighting them? Take the feet apart again, and we'll release the shoulders a bit more now that we're standing. We can get a lot more movement here. So we're going to bring one shoulder forward, roll it back, let the hips twist, and other shoulder. And really check in with your whole body here. So as you rotate, you want to make sure you're not holding tension or bringing tension into the knees, the hips, anywhere. So if you need to raise a heel to release the ankles or the knees, just really make sure that you're finding lots of ease and fluidity here. You can rotate the other way as well. Lovely, and let's come right back to the center. Here you might find it helpful to have a chair if you need it for balance, or a wall, whatever you've got handy. It's not it may not be necessary, or it may, depending on how you're feeling balance-wise today. But one hand on the chair or wall if you're using it, the other arm's reaching up, right? And then we'll bring the same knee to the hand, and then lifting up, and then other knee to the hand. So again, alternating legs. Right, and then after the next one, you can release, and we'll do the other side. So again, you can hold on to a chair if you need to or not. It's up to you. So you'll lift the opposite arm, and then same leg will lift. And then lifting the arm, lowering the leg, and then switching legs. One more each side. All right, and then coming down. So if you've got a chair here, you can use it. And I would recommend having the lower part close. If you don't, you can still do this with just hands to the thighs again. So inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, either hands to the thighs or the chair. Inhale, lift the tail, lift the head. Exhale, round. If your hands are on your knees, you're going to transfer both hands to one knee. Step back with the other foot. And then lift up, breathing in. Come forward, hands to the chair or that same front knee. Okay. Lifting up again. And this time we'll step forward, bring the foot down or forward with you. So inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the knees or the chair. If they're on the knee, you're going to transfer both hands to the opposite knee, step back. Inhale, lift, warrior one. Exhale, forward. We'll do that again. And then next time, lifting up and stepping forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, little arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Once more. And this time as you're rounding, you can uncurl back to standing. So let's come back to mountain pose once more. Notice and feel what's present in your body right now. Come back to equal breathing if you find that comfortable. So inhaling and exhaling the same amount. Wonderful. And now we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So take your time as always, come down. When you get there, you can lie right down on your back. Arms alongside your body. And we're going to slowly lift the arms up. Don't worry about how you're breathing. And reach them overhead until you feel like that's enough for you. So it might be stopping somewhere overhead. It might be bringing the hands all the way back to the floor. For some of you, that may be an option. You might find you want to bend the elbows and move them more to the sides in that cactus or ball pose position. So finding what's comfortable for you overhead and then bringing the arms back down. So again, reaching up, really honoring any restrictions you're feeling in your shoulders, and back down again. And now if you want, you can add in the breaths. You inhale as you extend and expand, and exhale as you draw down that contraction. So we'll add on. So now as the arms are coming down, one knee comes in. Do the squeeze at the end of your exhale for coordinating breath. And then foot down, arms up. Other side. We'll do this a few times. Bring the lower back, stretch and movement here. Next time you have the knee in toward the chest. Stay there, give it a little squeeze, relax your shoulders, maybe even interlace your hands over the shin if that's comfortable, or if it's more comfortable behind the knee, you can go there. And then either holding the leg or you can let go of the leg, reaching up and bending in. So you don't have to straighten the leg as it reaches up. You're just going until you feel the stretch. It might be still quite bent for you. And then releasing. So stretching is a form of expansion. And when we feel, at least when I feel kind of stressed out and compressed and contracted, I find just moving and stretching my body even can help me feel more expanded in my heart and in my mind. So all our bits and pieces, all of our aspects of ourselves are interconnected. So if we feel contracted in our heart, sometimes just opening that physical space can create more feeling of expansion. You can keep the leg up in the air now if you want. You can hold on and gently draw the leg a little closer as long as that's comfortable, or you can continue to let the hands relax and try circling your ankle around. And as you circle the ankle, stay tuned into sensation. So where do you notice the sensation, right? It's not just for me in the ankle. I feel it in my shin, feel it in my calf, a little bit in the back of the knee. And if I stretch my legs straighter, I can even feel some movement in the back of my thigh. Now let's relax the foot, relax the leg, and give it a shake. Okay, bringing that foot down. Let's extend both legs as long as that's comfortable for you to lie flat. If not, both knees bent is fine. Let's again take a moment to notice, how does the one leg feel compared with the other? So the one that you worked versus the one that was just hanging out. Can you feel a difference? Are you aware of any difference in the feeling of expansion or contraction? And again, when you're ready, we'll do the other side. So you'll start with both knees bent. You'll bring the other knee in toward your chest. Again, you're welcome to hold on above or below the shin. Take a couple of breaths here. And then again, either holding behind the thigh now or not at all, reaching up and bending in. If you want to coordinate your breathing here, inhale as you expand the back of the leg. Exhale as you contract back in toward the body. Again, you're welcome to leave the leg there, either holding or not. Feel the stretch, make sure you're not overdoing it. So we're looking for expansion when we're stretching, but if we overdo it, the body actually contracts to try to protect you. So we're actually counterproductive when we try too hard. So can we just allow the space to open with ease rather than forcing? And then try circling the ankle around. One way, then the other way. And then if you're holding on, you'll want to let go, relax the ankle, relax the leg, give it a little shake. And then releasing. And again, relax both legs on the ground or keep them bent if that's a better option for you. Take a moment and tune in. What are you aware of now? What do you feel? What do you notice? What sensations are present in your hips, legs, feet, lower half of your body? Great. And then when you're ready to bend the knees, feet come first to the floor, and then you can bring your knees up in toward your chest. Let the hands come onto the legs, onto the knees. And now we'll raise both legs. So your options here are to keep your hands where they are or bring them behind your thighs as you do this. And just bend and straighten both legs. The other option with the arms is you can take them behind you as the legs go up, and then hands back to knees as the knees come in. So again, your legs don't have to come fully straight. Just looking for what's most comfortable. And then next time the knees come into your chest, hold them there and do any kind of movement that feels good. So it might be rocking side to side, it might be circling the knees around. You can go in one direction if you're circling, and then the other direction. And then feet coming to the floor, arms away from the body to the sides, and we'll move into a gentle twist. So starting by just a little bit of rocking side to side. So you're really just shifting the weight across the back of your pelvis, moving the knees a few inches one way, a few inches the other way. Just finding that easy rock. And then if you like, you can make that movement a little bigger, bringing the knees down to wherever is comfortable for you, and then back to center. Go slowly now, so you don't overdo it. Going to one side, back to center, over to the other side. If you want to coordinate your breath, exhale to the side, inhale to the center, or just go at your own pace and breathe normally. You can do a few more, or you can stay for a few breaths each side if that feels good for you. Take your time. Whenever you feel complete and there's absolutely no rush, you'll come back to the center. Again, knees to chest, hands to knees. And this time rocking forward and back with the knees. So drawing the knees towards you and then moving the knees away. Again, if you want to coordinate your breathing, inhale as you move away and expand. And that gives space for the expansion. Exhale, there's a natural contraction as the knees come into the chest and the breath goes out. Inhale, legs away. Exhale, knees in. A few more times, your own pace. Great, and then as you're ready again, we'll bring the feet to the floor. You can stretch the legs out again. Always, if it feels better to keep the knees bent, that's totally fine. Arms down a little bit away from your body. And we're going to play around with the contrast between contraction and relaxation. Right? So we know best what relaxation feels like after tension, right? When we've been really tense and we can finally relax, it feels so good. So we're going to practice that by deliberately creating some tension in the body. So you're going to make your hands into fists, squeeze up through your arms, and bring your shoulders up towards your ears as long as that's comfortable. Let the rest of your body stay relaxed. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, relax your arms. Keeping the arms relaxed now, we're going to squeeze the face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze your jaw, your neck. Squeeze, squeeze. A big breath. And release. And we're going to squeeze the muscles around the belly and the torso. Squeezing in. Try to keep your face and arms relaxed if you can. And then relax. And then the legs, you can put your toes up, flex your feet, so you're squeezing up through the calves and the thighs. Try to keep your upper body relaxed as you contract the lower body. And then relax. So now we'll do everything from the waist up, starting with the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the belly, the neck, the face. Legs stay relaxed, squeeze. Breathing in and exhale, release. And then again, just the lower body, feet, legs, squeezing up to your buttocks. Big breath in and relax. And then we'll do the whole body. So squeezing the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, the face, the belly, the buttocks, the legs, the feet. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then one big breath, exhale, and we'll let it all go. Good, you can give a little shake if you like, just a little movement to release any extra tension you may be carrying. And then let your body come to stillness. If you want to bend your knees or if you want to cover yourself up or whatever might help you be more comfortable for Shavasana, you can do that. If you prefer to sit for the end of the class for the meditation, you can roll to your side and come to sit. Although most people do tend to appreciate the relaxation at the end after the movement and activity. So you do what feels right for you. So take the time you need to adjust, make those little movements so you feel really comfy and you can soften and let go. So even here, this contrast between the activity part of the class to the relaxation part of the class. Part of this whole wave of contraction and expansion, of going inward and outward, dark and light, winter and summer, all of these opposites that If we can embrace the opposite, we find in that embracing, we find our balance, we find our center. When we try to deny our happiness or deny our sadness or anger or whatever it is, then we become unbalanced one way or the other. So finding our way back to center by embracing all that is. Right? We can hate winter all we want, but that doesn't make it stop. So embracing it allows us to find that balance in ourselves. Coming to your breath again, this point of balance, inhaling and exhaling. We cannot have one without the other. It's such a beautiful metaphor for all of life. So tuning into that rhythm, maybe even coming back to equal inhale with your exhale as a bit of a focus as we move into Shavasana. And then now as we move into the more relaxing part of the class, less activity, the going inward, the contracting, releasing, you can bring a little more attention to your exhalation. You can obviously still inhale equally, but really focusing on the exhale, even making it a bit longer if you like, if that's natural for you. And feeling with that exhale that you're now letting go of the activity, letting go of any tension. Your shoulders and arms and hands drop and release a little bit more with each exhalation. Face, neck, and jaw also releasing. Exhale, feel the back of your shoulders relax and drop into the earth. Belly soften. Your hips sink down into the earth, relaxing all around the abdomen, the hips, the buttocks. Softening your thighs as you exhale. Relaxing your kneecaps. Releasing your calves and shins, ankles, feet, toes, letting go. And continue to focus on your exhalation, the sense of dropping, softening, going inward into this warm place of hibernation. I'm going to share with you the same chant we've been working with for the last few weeks, adding another verse. And this verse talks about the emotions and the ebb and flow of our emotions, bringing us closer to our sense of self. And the closer we are to our sense of self, the more vitality we have, the less we're fighting with what truly is and simply allowing it to be. Annamaya me shrudyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuya sakya swaha. Om Maya me Shuddhantan Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma Bhuya Sagaswaha Om Mano Maya Me Shuddhantam Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma Bhuya Sagaswaha Om Vijnanamaya Me Shuddhantam Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma Bhuya Sagaswaha Om. Come back now to the awareness of the body, feeling what's present, feel the ground against you, temperature, feel the breath moving in your body. Let it be natural and flow, contraction and expansion. Be aware of the movements of your mind, noticing what quality your mind has now at the end of the practice. And also being aware of any emotions that are present. Know that emotions have a lifespan, they come and go. And if we can ride the wave of that expansion and contraction of our emotions, we also come back to a place of balance. If you're ready to begin movement, you can deepen the breath and add a little movement of your fingers and toes, ankles and wrists, gradually bringing that movement to whatever parts of your body are ready to move. If you're ready to come back upright, you can roll to your side if you've been lying down, and come back to seated position. Of course, if you want to stay longer in Shavasana, you're welcome to do so. If you come upright, or even if you're lying down, you can bring your hands to your heart, palm to palm. And I invite you to, as you go through your week, recognize when you're feeling contracted, when you're feeling expanded, and making absolute peace with the rhythms and the flow of life, your emotions, the weather, whatever it is, recognizing that things are always changing, expansion and contraction are like an ebb and flow. They're always moving. So we always find our way back to what feels good to us. Namaste.
Hi.